Hi all, a video request by a lot of my subscribers who had a lot of questions on the Behringer Xenyx analog format mixer. Apologies for taking forever to get this video up. I know a lot of you have been waiting on this for a while, but hopefully it will answer most of your questions or give you some form of guideline. First off, we're going to have a look at the mixer itself and explain its main use based in regards to what kind of consumer this will be suited for. And the video will be split into two parts. First part will consist of the general setup of the mixer, and second part will purely be based around the recording from the mixer to your PC and back to the mixer itself. These type of mixers are primarily used for handling your set. It's able to handle a vast amount of equipments and instruments together, like if you have a small band, radio podcast, or even a home studio. That's what this mixer will be mainly used for. Right on top of the mixer, this is where we'll have our input channels for both mono and stereo to connect all our equipments and gear. The back of the mixer, we'll find our outputs and our insert sections. The amount of inputs is dependent on your model series. On this one, for example, we have a 16-channel inputs that will consist of the mono and the stereo sections. The mono section on this board allows 4 channels where you could connect 4 XLR mic or 4 1/4-inch balance and unbalance for your guitars or your bass. And for those who's not aware of what an XLR cable will look like, this is what a male XLR cable will look like to plug into your Xenyx mixer, along with all other mixers as well. And here we've got our 1/4-inch cable. This is what a 1/4-inch cable will look like that plugs into your guitar and various mixers. On the stereo side, we have 4 channels, but these are fixed channels, so we would count each the left and right inputs as 1 and 2, making each a channel. You could it is illustrated on the mixer itself, where we can see it's got line in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. These are also clearly illustrated where the faders are as to each stereo channels. You would primarily use these channels to connect your drum machine or keyboards, mainly because these will come as stereo equipments themselves. On top of the mixer, you'll have your remaining 16 channels, where you've got 2 channels left and right that will make your channel 13, and then you've got the one below that will make your channel 14, and each input opposite to that will be your 15 and 16 channel. Now your mixer should come with the following accessory: a USB cable to plug behind your mixer and into your CPU. And then you've got your power lead, power cable to plug behind your mixer. A installation CD and a software CD package as well. Setting up your mixer, you want to put in your power cable, and then you want to put the USB provided at the back of your mixer into your laptop or PC. Finally, you want to connect your source of output to hear the sounds coming out of your mixer. This can be via the main output at the back via a XLR cable, one end to your speaker and the other end to the mixer, or via 1/4-inch into your speaker. So this is what a female XLR cable will look like. This is what you will use to plug behind the mixer. And the opposite will be an XLR male cable, which will be plugged at the back of your speaker. So we've got our female XLR. We're going to connect that at the back of our main outs of the mixer. Nice and secure. And then we're going to use the male XLR to connect at the back of our speakers. Another form of connection for your output is your XLR female with your 1/4-inch. So the XLR female will go at the back of your mixer, and the 1/4-inch cable will go at the back of your speakers. Example there, XLR, back of the outputs. So sounds will be coming out of your mixer, and the 1/4-inch will be plugged behind of your speakers, and that will make sounds go right directly into your speakers balance TRS. Another option is in front of the mixer on top, where you have another form of output. For this one, you could use a 1/4 inch to plug in front of the left and right output. Right there, you've got a mains out on top of the mixer, secondary options, and then you've got your XLR male to connect at the back of your speakers. So an example of the XLR being connected at the back of your speakers using the front main out on the mixer. Another example is you could just use 1/4 inch cables via 1/4 inch. So 1/4 inch will go in front of the mixer in the main out. The 2/4 inch will go at the back of your speakers, one to the left side, one to the right. Another form of connection that you can have is by using some RCA adapters. This one where you could connect, various sort of like PC speakers to the mixer to get your sound out if you don't have active monitor. So you'll connect your 1/4 inch on the main channel. Bearing in mind you have to have at least 2 1/4 inch, which you can buy. This is just primarily an example. Connect the RCA cables like so into the adapter, and then on the other end, as your form of outputs, you will have your phono outs that you can connect at the back to a specific mixer, laptop, and so on. So once all of that is set up, we have primarily connected our power cable at the back of the mixer, and then we've connected our USB cable. And primarily for this video, an example, what I mainly use is the main outs XLR to XLR speakers to mixers. Now the installation of the required software is simple. Just load the disk, open it up, and you'll have various folders for each of your OS. Now Mac users will not need to install any drivers, only specific softwares. For Windows users, you'll go to primarily the driver that is required on the folder. You'll click that folder, and within that folder you have an installation driver for the mixer, and you could just install that. You'll have an instruction readme file where you could read the whole text and just go through the guidelines to installing. Once that's done, what you want to do is go to your sound card options. You want to go to your outputs and also the inputs of your sound card. Now primarily what you're going to do here is change the main outputs as your internal speakers of your PC or laptop and put it to primarily the speakers driver. So you want to select the main driver that's been installed of your mixer as your main outputs, and then you want to do exactly the same for your inputs as well. From the internal default inputs, you want to deselect that and make it into the mixer's main input codecs driver instead. Now this is saying that every single sound that comes from your mixer will come into the input of your CPU. All outputs from your PC will go into the mixer to the mixer's main audio speakers. Now, one thing to bear in mind also is certain software will also need to be adjusted. At Cheez Tractor, for example, we would need to go into our settings of Tractor, the audio sections, and then what we want to do is make sure from the internal sound card, we want to select our mixer driver instead as our main outputs and inputs of that specific software, so that way it's working in line with our mixer. Now, same thing can be done with GarageBand as well. So if we look at GarageBand, we would go into our main preferences as our settings. We would click on that, and we'll go into our from general, our media and audio, and in regards to selecting our outputs and inputs, we would change both of those again to highlight we want to use our main mixer's output drivers and our main mixer's input drivers, so that way everything that goes through via GarageBand will go via the mixer itself. Another example is Logic Pro. Go into your settings into Logic Pro, most preferences, into your audio, and then in your audio right there, as I've already got it set up, My inputs and outputs on Logic Pro is selected as the main mixers, drivers, ins and outs. So all my recordings will go via the mixer coming in and out into the computer. Same again in Ableton Live, into your preferences, in your audio, and then you've got the options right there to select your mixers as your main sound output and input. Once all your software is installed and everything is set up on your computer, you can go ahead and put the mixer on. Simply press the button at the back of the mixer, and that will give power to your mixer to come on. Indication that your mixer is on. An LCD indicator where the effects is will be highlighted, and then you've got where your power indicator lead is will be highlighted as on as well. You've got next to that a phantom power, which you can put on by primarily pressing the button at the back of the mixer for the phantom power. That way you're giving power towards your microphones. Once that's done, you want to go ahead and put your speaker on. Always do that in that particular format: mixer on, then speakers on, and then backwards the other way around to turn off. So that's once set up. Currently we're not using any channels on the mixer. As you could see, everything is down, and we just have the mixer on itself, the speaker on, and sound is literally coming from the PC. So we're going to do a test to play an MP3 song just to make sure that our mixer is primarily working. Now we've got an MP3 playing, but no sound is coming into the mixer and going into our speakers, but yet we can clearly hear that our speakers are fully on and just hissing away. Now the reason why we're not hearing any sounds from our PC is because if we look on the main board on top, we've got two red buttons. Now those two red buttons determine sound coming into your mixer from your PC towards your speaker, or recording vice versa. So it's just press the button down and we should hear the sound. Fail with consequence, lose with eloquence and smile. In order to see your clip indicators, press down the second button and then you'll get your clip levels there, indicating sounds coming from your PC going out into your speakers. Next, we're going to have a look at how to connect a equipment to a mono channel. We're going to use the XLR inputs. So we've got an XLR male cable right there for the microphone. That's going to be plugged in into the first channel. Now that primarily is for our phantom power condenser microphone. Now as you can see there, the microphone is off even though it's connected via the XLR because it requires phantom power. So in order for the microphone to activate, we need to put on our phantom power on the mixer. So pressing the switch up the back, activate phantom power on the main mixer board, hence giving power towards your condenser microphone. So once that's all set up, what we want to do next is adjust our gain levels of each of these mono channels, but we're going to primarily focus on that one main channel. So we want to turn your gain all the way down. You want to make sure your compressor is also down, your EQs are all set to a balanced level, and then you want to make sure the effects, auxiliary and the onboard effects are all completely down. You've got your pan set in the center and your main fader channel all the way down to 0 as well. We want to press down our solo clip, and that will switch on and then go on as well on the main board. We want to press that down as well to put us into the PFL level set, which is your pre-fade level, so that way we can monitor our channels. What you want to do is slowly bring out the main fader on that channel, speak into your microphone, and pay attention to your clip level indicators to give you an idea of where you're at in regards to your volume and your level of that channel itself. Bring it to 0 level, and what you want to do is press down the main channel. So you're saying everything coming from that channel 1, I want it to go out to my main channel, which will provide the final output towards my speaker. So you want to bring that up, still speaking into your microphone, and you want to slowly bring that to a balanced level. Paying attention to your clip level, you could still see it's in line. So from here on, you want to go all the way up to your gains, and you want to slowly turn the gain level while still speaking on the microphone. So slowly move the gain level up, speak onto your microphone, And then while you're doing that, pay attention to your clips, and then gradually you should see your clips getting higher and higher. So you don't really want it to go over the zero. You want it to, just be right below that zero right there, or just about even. So adjust your gains. Once you found that perfect gain level, you can simply go ahead and make sure that the channel itself is set to a zero balance. And you've got your main channel as well, where you can make the last little minute adjustment to make sure everything is perfectly in line. Paying attention to your clip, just making sure it's not going well over or peaking over that line, so you won't get any awkward feedback when you really crank your volume up. And then you could go ahead and make your own personal adjustment towards your EQs, compressors as well, so you could really set up that channel the way you feel like. You could go ahead and further add a low cut to help in stopping more feedback and cropping up. Add some effects if you'd like, and then you just simply unpress the button back and go back to normal, and that is it. You're all set up.